Good morning traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to this week's Trade Zone Asian session update. So first of all, if you enjoy our content, please feel free to subscribe. We have different presenters during the week, and we have regular content coming out which covers quite a variety of different topics concerned with the markets and trading the markets. So if you do enjoy, please feel free to subscribe. So starting out, we had another solid finish to last week. We saw more gains. Gains were capped, and we can see some of the highs that weren't held after sellers did make some moves into the end of last week. So far this morning, we've seen some gaps lower on some of the currency risk majors, and we are seeing a bit of a fight back at the moment with the pound trading higher while the Aussie and the Euro trading lower. So generally at this stage in the morning, things are a little bit quieter than normal. We are seeing on the pounds here plenty of resistance up at that 1.2420 area, and that would be an area to beat for buyers to get this leg back on the way. The Aussie is same situation, seeing resistance up at that 71.19 points. So the Aussie and has been doing very well lately, and if everything still keeps continuing to go, continue as it is, we'd hope to see another test of this resistance this week. But we are a fair way away from both moving averages. So if we did see a pullback, would hopefully like to see buyer support coming around at 70.32 to 70.54, and then hopefully see a new higher low and a new start of a push higher get underway once again. So at the moment though, yeah, this is definitely the resistance point to beat. And for the Euro is a little bit cleaner at this stage. We do have resistance up around this area here at 1.0916 to 20, and it is a lot closer to the moving averages, so it doesn't look like as much like there could be a mean revision, but we would like to see this point here hold on the short term, and that's at 0.859. There's plenty of demand around this area here, but also there's a fair bit of, there's also resistance up at this level here. So this week we have a pretty busy week coming up, and it could basically cement some theories that about inflation in the US. So interest rates in the US are going to be coming out this week. I think it's expected to see a 0.25% rise, so 25 points. But I think the real meat that we always look for will be in the statement, and how the Fed actually sees things at the moment. But there does seem to be a general idea that inflation could be starting to decrease, and but whether the Fed is really truly happy with that or not, we'll have to find out later this week. But they are looking for a 25-point hike this week. So depending on what comes out in the statement, it could be good for risk markets, or it could be a fact of buy the rumor, sell the fact. So it should be an interesting one. But we also have a few other interest rate decisions coming out today and tomorrow. We don't have a lot in key news. There is a lot of low impact news coming out, but key impact news starts on Wednesday, early Wednesday morning, with Canadian GDP, and we'll have CB consumer confidence from the US as well, and New Zealand unemployment. So we have seen the horrendous floods that are occurring in the North Island at the moment, and it's really, all the best to the people of North Island who are dealing with that at the moment. But employment data is in the change expected to come. Employment change at 0.3%, and unemployment remains steady at 3.3%. So after that, things will start to pick up. We have the ADP non-farm employment change. We do have the NFP this week as well, and we also have the ISM manufacturing and JOLTS job openings on Thursday morning, and then the early hour time Thursday morning, we have the FOMC statement and the funds rate. So the news continues with the UK interest rate decision as well, and that's expected to go up by 50 points to 4%. And the euro is also, the European interest rate decision is also seen to increase for 50 points up to 3%. So rate rises will be looking to continue there. I think with the statements as well, traders will be looking to see from a euro and a Great Britain pound standpoint, with inflation still being an issue. You know, I think it was 10.5% in the UK recently. So we'll be looking to see if interest rates are, you know, tipped to continue to be raised and go higher into the future. So that could be good for the euro. I think it will come down to a lot of what comes out in the statement and how bad things are and how much they do expect to see interest rates increase, and if there's any surprises in what's being expected at the moment. So the press conference as well comes on Friday morning, and then on Saturday morning we have average earnings, non-farm employment, and the ISM as well coming just to cap out the week. US employment data-wise, average earnings are expected at 0.3%, non-farm payrolls at 193k, and unemployment to increase to 3.6%. And the last key data, the ISM services PMI, 50.4 points. So we'll have a look at some of a couple of the points here. So the ASX has definitely been having a good run of late. It has started this week 2.60 points lower, but if we have a look at the daily chart, we can see what a really nice, you know, stellar run we have seen in the last few weeks, and you know, it's back up to levels. You know, 75.29 was reached last week, and at this moment this morning we're seeing 75.17. So it's had a really good run, and we're really not too far away from levels, you know, all-time high levels that were set back in 2021. So if we do continue to see markets push higher, we could be testing those levels, and it's quite interesting to see how quickly we have seen that reversal after that move lower. And there's on the weekly chart here we can see that a pretty classic double bottom that started this trend. So technical chart pattern there did lead the way in this particular case. Now the US markets, we are seeing a lot of sackings and redundancies in the tech sector in the US, but the NASDAQ continues to push higher. It's a bit of a, I won't say sick, but it is a sign that you know, shareholders do like to see expense cutting, and unfortunately it's never nice to see, you know, a lot of people losing their jobs, but unfortunately it is a sign that when they do see mass entrenchments and sackings, that we do see the share price react positively to that news. So the NASDAQ has broken above this high that was set back on the 12th in 2022, and it did break that last week, and it is now back trading above this range here. So we'll see, the real next target will be if it can get back up to, you know, that 12,776 area. The SPS 500 still sits just below that high that was set in that same particular time, and we'll just need to see if momentum can continue with some of the influences that are coming out this week if we do see a new test at that area. That key level really is that 41.32 down to 40.91, and the US 30, which has been really the leader recently in US indexes, it continues to trade range bound. And momentum does look to continue to be a little bit soft on the buying side. It does look like it's struggling to find a bit of direction at the moment. So we can see this range here from 34,350 down to, you know, roughly this 32,757 area. We need to see a break out of the, you know, this range to really signal a new direction for the market. And it does have a lot of stiff resistance really from this point here at 34,264 up to 34,609 to deal with. So we have to keep an eye and see if the Dow can punch through either of those levels to get this trend back on track. So we do have roughly a consolidation pattern in the works here as well. So we'll see if it takes any more shape, and if that can form something a little bit more recognizable, and if we can then see a breakout. So one I wanted to touch on is the JPN 225. So we spoke about that key support that was tested. It really has bounced nice off that area, so we'll look for any if momentum for stocks can continue and the yen does continue to move lower, we'll look for maybe it does look like maybe a pullback could be on the cards, but it's nothing with certainty there yet. But if we do see a pullback, we want to see a nice high low and then a break of this level. And then if momentum for stocks does still carry forward, we'll be looking to see if it can test this area in the future at 29,438. And European indexes will this week so far, it still looks quite healthy on the German 30. There is a consolidation at this point here. We'd just like to see a break above this resistance at this level here. It is an ascending triangle. We can just see that shape there. It normally sees continuation patterns in an uptrend, so we'll look to see if it can break through this area here to continue higher. Now we'll touch on oil. So oil failed once again at this resistance point here, which is 81, well really 82. We saw a pretty decent move down on Friday. It was around the 2% point, and we just need to see if buyers can get momentum again. They've been really pushing to try and get back up to this resistance, but they've failed multiple times. So that is a key level, really, 82. If we can break 82, we'll look for prices to continue higher. But while that stands, we probably would be not looking to take any positions on oil just until it can work itself out. It still is in this up leg, but it's in a consolidation here, and it's having a lot of trouble at 82. So we'd like to see 82 beaten really to get this up leg back on track. Any move lower, and would be looking for this range that we have spoken about previously to stay in place. And gold as well. So gold is seeing a fair bit of support from 1924, 1925. So it's mid 1924s. It goes all the way down to that 1919 area, and while that stays in play, we'll look for this to trend to hold firm, but we want to see a new move up to test 1947.60 and hopefully beat it to show that this trend is going to resume. So the dollar is in an interesting phase as well at the moment. So we do have a lot of key news coming up for the dollar this week. It does look like it's trying to form a very rough ending diagonal on the downside here. If buyers can break up, we would look for it does line up with some of the currencies, especially the Aussie, that may see a short-term pullback. But there has been a lot of there really isn't much momentum on either side at all for the dollar. The index was seeing support, short-term support here at 101.45, but there is plenty of resistance from that 102 all the way up to 102.44. So again, we need to see some direction to start making some decisions about movement, but it does look like it's trying to stop this downtrend at the moment. Buyers really look like they're trying to put in a bit of a floor here. So if anything does come out this week that really goes against the dollar, we could see a new test lower, but it would really need to close below this support level with a strong move to really signal that this trend is going to resume lower again. So now we just want to finally just touch on some cryptos before we finish up. And so we've seen buying continue, and these trends continue to push. So Bitcoin had a very nice weekend. We saw a move back, well into the 23 point, and we want to see now what happens if we can reach that 24,490 area or above, just above that, and if we can break above this resistance level here. So it's totally retraced a lot of those big moves lower. Obviously, that's a whole different story here, but we'd like to see if it can break at this point that was set back on in August in 22. So Ethereum as well is still stagnating around this resistance point. We need to see a break above this 1660 area to really show that this trend is going to continue to march on. And BNB has put in another leg. It's beaten this resistance point here, but there's still plenty of points moving up. And Solana, which was heavily smacked during the FTX issue, has broken above the mini range over the weekend, but it still has a fair bit of ground to move up, but it's still in quite nicely. And considering, you know, where it was not too long ago, it's above the 50% point of that crash that we saw last year. And Ava's had a solid weekend, and it's retraced all of the that move lower, but we still have you know, a fair bit left to do to get back up to levels we saw you know, back in August. And excuse me. So Ripple as well. So Ripple is still trying to test that resistance set back in November, and we'd like to see, like with other coins, we'd like to see a break of that resistance to show that this up leg is going to continue. So that's it for today's video. It's sorry, there's a run up to 15 minutes. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on some of that news coming out from Wednesday. Obviously, the interest rate decisions, there's going to be a bit of a bearing on the euro and the pound, with those rates, you know, those 50-point rate rises being expected. But I think the real message will be in the statement, and if we're going to see those size rate rises continue. And another one is the message from the Fed and how inflation is there, and if we do see a 25-point increase, and if we are going to continue to see them moving forward. So that's some of the keys there to keep an eye on. So thank you very much for your time this morning. We hope you have a fantastic week, and until our next updates, we wish you all the best for your trading for the week, and good trading, and bye for now.